hello. Let me turn up my light. Ooh, we should all turn up our light. And I don't just mean the light that lights up the room. I mean our light. Hello, okay, let me see. So Susan, good morning. Sharon, good morning. Donna, hi. Ellen, great. That's so sweet. It's great to be with you too. And when I say that, Ellen, I'm thinking, because I'm on YouTube Live, so I know who's there and I can visualize the people that I know, but the ones I don't, I can't visualize. So what I'm going to say is, when you say it's great to be with you, I feel that same way. And I'm going to think of all of you in your spaces. I'm going to think of all of you wanting stronger bones, stronger muscles, stronger balance, and taking the bull by the horns and taking care of your health. So that's what this is. That's why I do this. That's why you guys are here. So we're all this group of women, because it's mostly women. Women have a higher incidence of bone density issues than men. And so we're all trying to do the best we could do to be the best we can be. So anyway, that's what that stimulated for me. All right, Shannon, hello. It's yoga time. Yes, it is. Mary, but I think it's Kathy, right? Right? I try to keep all this together. Lynn, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lynn. Happy birthday to you. And if we were all with you, all of us would be singing happy birthday. Yes, Ellen, you're welcome. Yeah, okay, good. See, I'm getting better. I remember some things, I don't remember others. All right, and then whoever else is here, because actually I did a summit this week and I've had a lot of signups and visits to my website. So I don't know if there is anyone that's new to me. If you are new to me and you want to introduce yourself, great. If you want to let me know what's going on in your body, that would be good too. And if you don't, that's okay. What I'd like to say is my message to everyone, whether you're new or not, you do you, everyone else is taken. And so you have to listen to your body and do the work, because we create a lot of bone building stimulation in this class. You need to do what's appropriate for your body, and you need to be in the place of listening so that you can actually determine what's safe and what's not. You're welcome, Lynn. Carolyn, good morning. Yeah, and see Donna saying happy birthday to you and Ellen saying happy birthday. So you're getting a lot of birthday wishes, Lynn. And Anne, hi. Yes, it's nice to be with you too, Anne. All right, well, we're all together with each other. It's one big love fest. Why shouldn't it be? Do you know that in, I want to say ancient civilizations, but probably not even so ancient. I don't even know what the number of years determines what's considered ancient. Women were always together supporting each other. And if any of you have read the book, The Red Tent, it's a fantastic book. And it speaks about women during the time of menstruation or even after childbirth, how they would take care of and nurture each other. And I think that that's something that's so lost from our society on so many levels, that we're not living in community and in groups to nurture and care for each other. So I wonder what we would all be like if we had that, you know? And yeah, I remember telling my daughters when they were growing up, because I happen to be more of a Zoftig Rubenesque kind of form. You know, I'm not a little stick figure. I'm not going to blow away in the wind, and neither will my girls. And what I would tell them is, if we lived in a big community together, there's some ladies that would be making the blankets and the pillows for all of us, because maybe they're smaller, they're not quite as strong. There's other women that would be carting the water back for us to all be able to drink. There's women that would be cooking and stirring the soup. And I'm like, we're the sturdy ones. We'd be carrying all that water for everybody. So anyway, whatever you are is good. All right. Yeah, I'm in an interesting place today, right? All right. And then if you're new to me, you're going to be like, who's this wackadoodle? I'm Debbie. Nice to meet you. All right. So let me just see if anybody did say anything about being new or having issues. Sharon did. Oh, you're saying happy birthday to her. Carol, hi. Okay. All right, Ellen, thanks for telling me that. All right, posture, back issues. Okay, so we'll talk about that heavy head of ours that we're carrying around and how we need to have a strong form to carry this 10-pound object that we're all balancing around all day long. All right, so for today's practice, I would like to start off by completely oxygenating our lungs and understanding the different sections of the lungs. And I say this because the more in tune you become with your body, the more self-healing you'll be able to give to yourself. And that's really powerful, to have so much body awareness that you're able to tap into self-healing. So we're going to begin our practice today by understanding the lungs and the different lobes of the lungs and how to bring as much oxygen in and how to have the apparatus of what moves the lungs and brings breath into the body, how to be as healthy as possible here. Because this affects mental, emotional health, it affects energy production, metabolism, digestion, and those are all parts of bone health as well. So for today's practice, you'll need a blanket, you'll need a block, and you'll need a strap. And then we're going to begin in a seated position. So for some of you, being in a chair may be the preferred option. And if that's you, you could sit in a chair if that's more comfortable for you. For others, the most preferred option for this is called Vajrasana Hero's Pose. It's this posture here. And for those of you that are working on posture and alignment, this is actually a nice way to set up the pelvis to be able to support the spine and then support the head. And it is really nice to take a block or two and use it as something to sit on and let the base of the spine, which is the sacral area and its tailbone, be supported. And then of course, if you have blankets or pillows, you could also put things in between your tushy and your feet, blankets or pillows, so you don't bend your knees as deeply. For those of you that have knees that don't like to bend, whatever it is, find a seated posture so that your lungs are free to move in all directions. You create that. Really important. Understand that and think of this, that what we're about to do is for your mental, emotional health. This is for your energy. This is for your immune system. Bringing in more oxygen and supporting the body systems. That's why we're doing what we're doing here. And then of course it has musculoskeletal effects as well, opening up the feet, and it really helps to open up flow in a lot of parts of our body that doesn't always have that opportunity. So the hand position is this. You take your hands and you make sure that your thumbs are touching your top of your hand. You use your flat palms for feedback. We're going to direct our mind to the palms of our hands. And where your mind goes, the energy flows. So when you actually visualize the palm on your skin and you feel the body moving towards the palms, then actually bring yourself to a part of your brain that's not that chronic stress loop that we live in so often. So that's how it helps to regulate mental, emotional. So the palms start at the base of the ribs, and you can let your elbows be alongside your body. You're going to start at the bottom of your ribs, palms are flat. That's the first position. The second position is to come to the sides. So slide your hands around the sides. And here you may start to notice some tightness in your upper back shoulder area. And this can have a corrective posture aspect as well. So posture and alignment are very important for good balance, and good balance is important for fall prevention. And fall prevention is important because bones break because we fall. They don't break because they're brittle. They break because you fall and you pull on them and they're not strong enough to withstand that force. All right, hands on the side. Now you take the hands to the back of the body, to the lower ribs. And for you, you may be able to do this with flat palms, right? Or you may need to put the backs of your hands on here and put the backs of the hands. And if you cannot do that, you could take your palms on your thighs and do that. Then you're going to come to the middle. You're going to go to the front, to the side, to the back, either flat palms or backs of the hands. And then you're going to come to the top. You're going to go front, which is the clavicle area. For this, we're not going to go underneath the armpits because it's a really sensitive part of your body. You're going to come down here and you're going to place your hands like this on your waist. And you're going to visualize that you're breathing into this part, this upper lobes of the lungs on the sides. And then for the last, You're going to take your hands, bring your hands alongside your ears, your head, let your elbows go up towards the sky, and let the tips of your fingertips touch the upper back where the upper lobes of the lungs can push towards your upper back, and you can hopefully feel the movement of the upper back or even direct your mind there. Okay? Front, sides, back, front, sides, back, front, side, back. Okay? So one of my favorite breathing techniques, one of, I believe, the most therapeutic breathing techniques that there is out there. That's why I'm sharing it with you today. So find yourself in whatever you're going to be in, whatever seat you're going to be in. Begin by placing the hands on the lower ribs. Thumbs are touching your hands. Feel the palms on your ribs and breathe down to your palms. So throughout this whole process, you're trying to breathe to your palms, feeling that part of your body moving towards your hands and you feeling that movement. And even if you don't detect movement, still trying to detect that movement. So begin by bringing the breath down so the lower ribs are expanding and contracting. I'm going to count for you. I'm going to count 4 for the inhale, 4 for the exhale. And we'll do 3, 3, and 3. So we're going to do a total of 27 locations that you're going to direct your mind to when you're breathing into your palms or to that location. So let's prepare. Take a big inhale. Take a big exhale. And let's begin to the lower ribs. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Slide your hands to the side of the lower ribs. Exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Slide your hands to the lower ribs at the back of the body. Let's prepare. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Bring your hands to the middle of the chest by the heart. Hands are flat. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Let's slide your hands to the side, middle ribs. Prepare by exhaling. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Slide your hands back to the middle of the ribs. Exhale to prepare. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Bring your hands to the clavicle bone area of the chest. Prepare. Exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Bring your hands along the lower part of your waist, but direct your awareness to right underneath your armpits, the sides of the lungs. Try to feel movement on either side. Prepare by exhaling. Begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Bring your hands, tips of the fingers touch the upper back, feeling the lungs moving towards the fingertips. Prepare by exhaling. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Continue breathing, eyes are closed. Bring your hands down on your thighs, palms are down. Bring your awareness to the lower ribs, the middle ribs, and the upper ribs. As you take your breaths, beginning at the lower ribs. I'll guide you through a couple of rounds. Let's take an exhale to prepare and begin. Inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Exhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, lower, middle, upper. 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 Continue on your own. Keep your awareness as you direct your breath to different sections of your lungs. Finishing up your last couple of rounds of breath. Feel your lungs expand as much as they can. Feel the chest moving all the way around the front, the sides, and the back of each section of your lungs. Opening them as much as you can. Finishing up your last breath. Bring your awareness to your hands. Rub your hands together. The eyes are still closed. Take your hands, cover your eyes so you minimize the light, and then gently allow your eyes to blink themselves open. And then bring your hands down. So I'd like to say this, that the lungs are not a muscle. And the only way the lungs move is by this volume pressure that is created in the lung cavity area. So the diaphragm, primary breathing muscle, it's the action of the diaphragm pulling in the breath or pressing the breath out of the body. So when we do this kind of movement and we take this time to breathe like this, we breathe deeper, we bring in more oxygen. Let's straighten out your legs, especially if your knees were bent. If you're sitting in a chair, you can kick your legs straight. And we are going to come down onto the ground. So if you are in a chair, you may want to transition at this point down onto a mat. Kick your legs out. Let the fluids freely flow through the open vessels as you unbend your joints, right? So we created a restriction. And in the practice of yoga, we actually create blockage. We create a stop so we can then open it and allow for a real fast rush of fluids. And the lymphatic system, part of your immune system, it only moves with movement and massage. So we're really getting that lymphatic system, which is part of the immune system, to be working as well. So you're not just doing this. I'm not guiding you through something for the sake of, oh, I learned this thing in India. No, there's a physiological reason why we're doing what we're doing. And in particular, in this class, I focus on things for healthy bones, but of course, everything else needs to be healthy. All right, let's come to a seated position just to do a little warm up, and then we're going to go down onto the ground. I want to warm up your spine here. So fold your blanket, come to a crisscross applesauce position if that's okay for you. If your knees don't like this, then take your feet like this. This is good for hips. This is an opening in the hips. A lot of people are obsessed with hip openers. This seated position, legs to the side, is going to be opening up the hips. Let's take your hands on your legs, and we're going to do a flexion and extension of the low back. We're going to rock back and forth on your sits bones. So I want this to be from the lower ribs down where the movement takes place. So you're actually rocking back and forth on your rocking chair legs. Imagine your sits bones and your pelvis are rocking chair legs, not a huge movement. And if you look at my upper back is not moving. I am not going like this because that's a no-no if you have osteoporosis. Should be a no-no for all of us anyway, because the front of the spine doesn't need to have all that compressive force. So a little forward and backwards, getting some softness to come into the lower pelvic area, the lower rib area, and the abdominal area. Then you're going to bring your hands onto your body, and you're going to bring yourself forward, bring yourself to the side, bring yourself back, and bring yourself to the other side. Try to keep your spine in a neutral curve position. So you could visualize 26 teacups and saucers, teacup, saucer, teacup, saucer. And as you go around, you keep them in alignment. You're not letting anything tip off or fall. And hopefully you feel some stretching taking place here in the low back, in the hips, and right in the center of the pelvis at the lower spine. All important muscles that we'll utilize in today's practice. One more. You could close your eyes if you like. Bring yourself back to center. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale forward. And then move yourself in the other direction. You inhale forward and you move yourself around in circles. I like to close my eyes because I like to feel my way around, because this is where I get a lot of great feedback for where am I tight? And where am I working? And where am I symmetrical? Where am I asymmetrical? Where do I have issues in my tissues? And then bring yourself through one more rotation. And then bring yourself all the way up. Sit nice and tall. Let's go side to side. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale over, inhale up, and exhale over. Now keep your throat open. Don't let your hand be too far in front of your body. Try to let your arm be alongside your body. That's more important than how far down you go. So we're doing lateral flexion, squishing the fluids that are in your discs side to side. And in order to keep your spine nice and young and mobile and happy and healthy, we need to move it and move all the stuff that gets sticky in it out of the way. And then bring yourself back to center, a little rotational warm up. So first let it just be the head and the neck. And then those of you that have upper back, head and neck issues, trying to isolate these 7 vertebrae that are in the neck. So let's see if we can get a little fluidity in that part of your body. So first I would say to hold on to your legs so you can sit up nice and tall. And then you're only going to move your head and neck. You're going to try to look over your shoulders. So let it just be the head and neck. Don't let your shoulders move yet. And then you're going to go a little farther. Now you're going to even let your hands join in. You're going to try to look directly behind you. Now you need to be tall. When you add rotation to the spine, you want to make sure you're not compressing the front of your vertebra right by the lower ribs. So you need to be tall here. Push your heart forward and you're looking over the side. Make it be the rib cage that's moving the most. Pelvis stays stationary, lower spine stationary, and you're moving your body. You feel the muscular stretching of right around lower ribs and in the side of the body. And then bring yourself back to center. All right, we're going to begin on the ground. We're going to begin with an inversion that is going to prepare us then for our first posture, which will be the bridge posture. So, trying to think here. Now, if you have glaucoma, it would be, or headaches, if you had a headache now, which probably you wouldn't be practicing if you had a headache. You wouldn't want to do this if you have glaucoma. You wouldn't want to do this if you have headaches. So, for the rest of you, get your blanket and bring your blanket onto the floor. Have your block handy. Because this is osteoporosis class, we're going to move to the side and bring your hand down. Your whole body, your upper body goes on the blanket, but not your head and your neck. So don't let your head and your neck go on the blanket. And then lengthen your head so your chin goes down towards your chest. Now, depending on what's going on in your body posturally, for some of you, having 2 blankets there may feel a little bit more comfortable for the head. Some heads don't like this because you may have, stuff going on in your spine. So if it's really uncomfortable to have no blanket, you could put a tiny, tiny, tiny fold of a blanket under your head. And if you could be like this, try this. The next step would be to add that inversion, bringing a block underneath your pelvis. So try the block underneath your pelvis. And then if you take the arms out to the side, so begin with the elbows low down. The elbows are pretty low here, kind of off the lower ribs. And then you're going to rotate the arm bones. So you may need to be lower and your hands may need to be farther away from your body if you've got tightness in your shoulder areas or postural issues. So you have to find what's appropriate here for you with the hands. And you want your heart to be pushing up towards the sky. Definitely some corrective pelvic stretching could be taking place for some of you. Of course, if any part of this is not appropriate, don't do it. Make sure the weight's not coming down into your head. So lengthen the back neck. Feet are wider than the body. Let the knees fall in towards each other. And then breathe down to your belly. In this inversion, the fluids of the pelvic area and lower extremities
are moving with gravity down towards your heart and then to your head. So oxygenating the head. It helps to lower the heart rate, blood pressure. And it's counterindicated if you have glaucoma or uncontrolled or unmanaged high blood pressure. If you want to go a little bit bigger, more of an inversion, you could actually bring your legs up to the sky. Try to let the soles of the feet point towards the ceiling and let the legs be directly above the pelvis. So this is not for everyone. And if you try it and it feels intense, uncomfortable, I'd say don't do it. It should be actually relaxing to have the legs up there. So for those that have the opposite of that, put your feet back down. And then I'd like you to take 3 intentional breaths to all of the parts of your lungs, lower, middle, and upper. When you finish that breath, take your feet down. We're going to come right into the first posture of the day. We're going to come into the bridge posture. So make sure you lengthen the back of your neck. We're going to do the work part. You could keep the block here. You bring your arms alongside your body. Slide the shoulder blades closer towards each other. When you do come up, you're going to make sure your head does not go side to side. So dig the arms into the ground, lift the upper back up, slide the shoulder blades closer to the center of the body. And then the feet are hip distance. You're on the block, and you're going to squeeze your tushy, try to flatten the upper edge of the low back to the block, and then you're going to lift your pelvis up away from the block. Now, many of you may come away from the block. Some of you may not at all, and that's okay. Because this is the first level of bridge. If you keep your body on the block and you're not able to lift up, that's okay. That's first level. And for some people, that's where you are. Push your feet into the floor. Lift the weight of your pelvis up as high as you can. Bring a back bend into your upper back. Press your heart towards your face. Add as much of a back bend as you can. Pushing away from the floor with your arms, with your feet. Squeeze your tushy. Deep breaths. Feel the power as you push away from the floor. Feel that strong back bend, strengthening your posture, strengthening your balance. Fortifying your hanger that holds you up all day. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly, one vertebra at a time, you're going to come back at first to the block. Let your body stay there. And then reach underneath, get the block, take the block out to the side, and allow your body to go down to the floor all the way. And then draw the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. And then rock all the way onto your side. Cradle your head in your hand. Let your spine recalibrate here. I think that's one of the most valuable postures for bone health is the bridge posture. Let's take your hand on the floor in front of you, and then you're going to push yourself, leading with the shoulder, not with the head, to bring yourself up to center. So I'd like to give you an analogy when you're practicing
The analogy is this: if you went to the ice cream store, you have a choice of having 1 scoop, 2 scoops, or 3 scoops. And many things are gonna determine whether you will have that many. Will you have 3? Will you ever have 3? Right? Because it might not ever be the case. I want you to approach your practice like that. The beginning of the pose, the middle of the pose, and the end range of motion in the pose, so that you choose what's appropriate for you in your body and for today. We're gonna come into the plank. So the 3 scoop version of the plank would be this. This is 3 scoops. 2 scoops would be to lower the legs here. And then if the wrists don't like this, you may need to be down in the dolphin variation, either full, which is the 3 scoop dolphin, or the 2 scoop dolphin, okay? That's your variations for plank. 1 scoop, I'm not sure what I'm gonna say is a 1 scoop plank. We'll think about that. All right, so we're gonna come into the plank. You're gonna take your fingertips are pointing forward, your hands are really spread. You're gonna bring 1 foot back, and then the other if you're choosing 3 scoops, or you're gonna choose 2 scoops of ice cream by putting your knees on the floor. Do what's appropriate for you. And then I want you to feel the power in your body as you push away from the floor with both feet, push away from the floor with both hands. Feel that power as you maintain that strength of pushing, using the muscles of pushing you away from the floor. Lengthen from the crown of your head to the center of the heels of your feet. Nice and tall, nice and long. Press your fingertips into the floor to distribute the weight. And then low ribs gently push back towards just the lower ribs pressing up, and the pubis bone, which is the base of your torso, draws up towards those low ribs. Take 1 more breath. And then bring 1 knee down at a time and then the other. Definitely longer than a 30-second hold. And that's also variations. Maybe you stay up the whole time. Maybe that's too much for you. Let's take your wrists, shake your wrists, and then stretch your wrists. Make sure you're holding on to the lower part of the hand near the wrist to get a little bit more support in your stretch. So we were pushing away from the ground. Now we're going to be pulling ourselves up. Let's go on to our bellies to do the locust posture. And if you keep this right here in the center, your pelvis will land on it. And let's go with some upper body strengthening for this. So take your hands forward and wide as your mat. And then flatten your toenails onto the floor. Keep your arms alongside your body. Don't let them be out to the side. So when you come down, it's not like this. It's like this. So your elbows stay right alongside your body. You lower down, look forward, keep your elbows in, press your fingers into the floor, press your heel of your hand. Lots of upper body strength to do that. Let's come onto the pelvis, come onto the Sphinx posture here. Get yourself nice and aligned, and then touch the big toes, flatten all 10 toenails, even the pinkies, reach long in your spine, and bring yourself down, down, down onto the ground. Hands are alongside your body. And if you want to do the 3 scoop version, the end range or a bigger range, you could take your hands behind you, but your hands need to be able to lift away from your body. And for some, that's not possible. So either hands are down alongside the body, or you're clasping your hands and then inhale to lift everything up and away from the floor. Lifting and pulling yourself up towards the sky. So feel that pulling action in the back of your body. It's nice and long, but you can feel that the shoulders are pulling towards the pelvis. It's a back bend, pressing the back of the vertebra in towards each other, strengthening the spine here, creating stimulation in your spine, in your bones, and then strengthening the muscles that help hold you in this upright position. Long from your head, long from your fingers, long from your feet. Lift up away from the floor. Pull up. One more breath. And then lower down. Let's take your hands, fold your hands, put your head on top of your hands. Take your feet wide and wiggle back and forth side to side. Close your eyes, feel your heartbeat. Breathe down to your belly. Feel your belly pressing into the floor. Then you're going to take a hand to the side, rolling onto your side, bend your knees, and take your hand in front of you, and now push with your hand. Let it be the action of push that's bringing you up. Come onto your feet if you can. Stretch your feet. This would be this 3-scoop version. If you're not able to do this, maybe you're up here doing this. Something to open up your feet. We're going to do some standing. We want our feet to be receptive. Balance. A lot of balances in your feet. Now you're going to sit on your flat feet. I know not everyone can do this. Those that can, please do it. Sitting on your feet, we're going to stretch the top of our feet. So reach down and take hold of your knee and lift one leg away from the floor and keep your whole body center. So try not to let your body weight go to the other side. Lifting your knee away from the floor, feel the stretch on the front of the foot. Take one more breath. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Lifting the knee up away from the floor, feel that stretch on the front of the foot. Take one more breath. And then let's go ahead. Bring yourself up. Bring a leg forward. Strongest leg if you have issues with balance. Weakest leg if you're pretty strong and you want to strengthen the other side of your body. And maybe you don't know which one is which. So if you know, you're going to bring your, walk your foot forward so that your ankle joint is forward of your knee. That's important. Take your hands on your top thigh. Inhale, and then push yourself forward and bring yourself all the way up. And then we're going to move the props out of the way and get a chair. Actually, get a chair and get a strap. So get your strap. Let's do a little bit to stretch the upper body. Now, of course, if you have shoulder issues, you either shouldn't or can't do this. So you'll see if any of those exist for you. You bring your arms up and bring your arms back. Up and forward. Now, sometimes with shoulder issues, if you bend one elbow, it may make it a little bit more tolerable for your body, or this may be something that you don't do at all. And if that's the case and you don't do the strap, then try to come here and open up your chest to stretch the front of the pectorals, the chest muscles, and the shoulder muscles. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the strap. Take the strap up. Let's do a little side to side. And again, if you couldn't have the arms with straight elbows, maybe that elbows makes it a little doable for you. Stretching your body. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the strap. Move the strap off to the side. So we're going to strengthen our legs because leg muscle strength is important for healthy aging. It's also important for fall prevention, which is important for bone health and overall health, quality of life, and everything. Falling is not what we want to be doing. All right, come to the front edge of your chair. Take your hands in the back of the chair. We're going to do a little camel posture. So you're going to push your hands into the chair and lift your chest up and bring your feet about hip distance. This is actually a posture for bone health. So this would be the 1 scoop version to be here. If you want to come into the 2, or maybe even I would say almost the 3 scoop version, you're going to lift your pelvis away from the chair. Push the heel of the hand into the chair. Don't let your knees fall in towards each other, and don't let them move out to the sides. Very even, and then bring your awareness to your hands. Push both hands into the chair evenly. Press the shoulder blades into the spine or to the back, to the ribs, and push the chest up. Very strong back bend here. Lift your pelvis. Don't lift your pelvis too much. More about the extension in the spine. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself down. So camel posture is typically a back bend, strengthening those muscles. When you do that here and you lift away from the chair, you're definitely getting much more muscular strengthening also in the upper body. All right, legs are wide, so my legs are spread. I just don't face the camera like that, and I'd like you to see the side. So the angle of the hip and the angle of the knee. These are the 2 joints we need to use when we bend down. So we bend all day long to garden, to pick things up, to get ourselves dressed. So we need these to be not only in good working condition, but we need the muscles that support them and mobilize them to be strong. So take your hands here on your thighs, bring yourself forward, keep your spine in its natural curve, and unbend and bend your hip and your knee. Unbend and bend the hip and the knee. And if you have your hands on your thighs, you'll actually feel quadricep muscles, these upper thigh muscles, react to this movement because they're so important here for knee flexion and hip flexion. So really working those upper leg muscles. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. Come to the very front edge of your chair. Walk your feet back towards your chair. And actually have your feet be all the way together here. That'll be a little bit more supportive. So the feet are touching, ankle joints touching if you can, knees are touching. Hands are down alongside your body. Let's come forward, lift your tushy off the floor and come into chair posture. Push your lower legs back, really bend deeply in your hip, not so much your knee. For those of you that your knees feel something, push your heels into the floor like crazy, squeeze your tushy cheeks, and try to point your tailbone down to the ground. Move everything to the back of your body. Take it out of the knee joint. And then try to bend at that hip. Tailbone down, belly button to spine. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then take your hands together, bring yourself all the way up. We're going to use the chair for this. So we're going to do let's come into this a little bit more gently now that we're standing up. We're going to do the mountain pose Tadasana, posture of alignment. So let's find alignment before we start challenging that in the standing position. So you're going to come with your feet not too far apart, hip distance. The front of the hips are here. That's where the front of the hips are, not here. You're going to take your hands alongside your body, turn your palms forward a little. Your thumbs are moving away to the side. Reach your hands down like they're heavy, like they have weights on the fingers. And then knees are apart, don't let them fall in towards each other. And then you come to your pelvis. Neutralize your pelvis by pulling the lower pelvic area, the pubis bone, up towards your low ribs. Gently activate your core like you're squeezing a tube of toothpaste, and you're trying to squeeze the toothpaste from the lower belly area up underneath to where the low ribs are. And then lift your heart, but don't flare your lower ribs. So you lift up. And then your arms are alongside your body. So push your arms alongside your body. That's important. And then bring your awareness to your head. Slightly tuck your chin slightly down towards your chest and push your chin back so that your head is directly on top of your upper spine. For those of you that would like to do a little challenge, you could close an eye or close both eyes. Only do that if you know you have sturdy balance, if you have a strong practice, and you're going to grab the floor with your feet if you feel any kind of wavering. This is Tadasana, mountain. Think of a mountain, a triangular, stable structure. Take one more breath. Don't come out yet. This posture, Tadasana, is in almost all of the postures we practice. So we want this alignment principle in our joints to be in our practice for these next couple of postures we're going to do. So the first one is we're going to challenge this. We're going to challenge that hip joint. We're going to go into what's called a warrior 3 position. And a full warrior 3 position, let me show you the 3 scoop, 3 ice cream scoop. The 3 scoop variety of the warrior 3 is when you have both arms extended and the leg extended. That's the 3 scoop variation. The 1 scoop variation may be here. The 2 scoop variation may be here. You're loading up your hip joint in flexion. You're putting pressure in your hip joint from a different angle than you usually do. We weight bear straight up and down. So the top of the femur and the pelvis get that compressive force from above. We're going to add compressive force from a different angle, strengthening your top leg bone and hip capsule in a different way. So that's why yoga is like nothing else when it comes to osteoporosis and strengthening bones, because we're at so many different angles getting in there to get strength. So I'd like you to choose your weakest leg to do this. And for me, it's my left because that's my hip replacement side. And so with hip flexion, it is a bend at the knee. It's a bend at the hip with this. So make sure you're not ever doing this, right? Forward folding with osteoporosis is a no-no. Do not do that. You want it to be just here. That's what takes you down into this. So I recommend that you have a chair here and come into it perfectly. And then if you start to lift your limbs off, then do that. So I'll guide it that way. So the hands are on the top of the chair. The toes are pointing forward. Your spine is in nice alignment. The back foot slides along the floor and then comes into flexion. You're starting to load up in that hip. And then you come forward as far, you load into that hip as far as it wants you to load into it. You could either keep your hands on the top, or maybe you can come down onto the seat of the chair and push your weight back. So make sure you don't go forward and you're not all in the chair. And maybe the back leg doesn't lift up that high. So choose to be loading in that hip joint to a place that feels appropriate for you to be loading. If you'd like to explore taking the opposite hand of the leg that's in the air, try to take that opposite hand off. And now you fire up some postural muscles as well. Deep breaths here. Take one more breath. To come out, you're going to bend and take the tension out of that leg, not your spine. You're going to bend your knee, and you're going to bring your foot forward, and you're going to bring yourself up. You're going to shake that leg. We're going to come to the other side. So however much you load into that hip safely is going to be good. It's not about going all the way down. Do what's appropriate and what's safe. You have that foot on the floor, and that's important. You want to be safe when you're practicing strong postures for bone stimulation. All right, you're going to flex. That other hip is going to flex. You're going to take the toe on the floor. The spine stays in its neutral curves. You flex the foot. You contract the core to protect that low lumbar. You come forward with that spine in the nice position. Maybe good for some of you to do this near a mirror so that you can actually see yourself. If you're going to come down lower, you can come down and make sure you're not forward on your foot. Push yourself back. Deep breaths. And if you want to bring opposite arm to the leg that's in the air, try that. Make sure you have a lot of weight in your heels so you feel the glutes taking a lot of the pressure here of this forward flexion in the hip joint. Push your top thigh back, the one you're standing on. Push it back away from you. Nice long spine. The front of your spine is open. You're not compressing the front of your spine. So keep your chest lifted. Keep your head up. Take one more breath. And then to come out, you're gonna bend that front knee and you're gonna bring yourself forward and you're gonna bring yourself up and you're gonna shake your legs. Definitely some of the stronger postures in the practice, much more stimulation. So that was the front of the hip capsule. Let's go to the side of the hip capsule. Let's do what's called Ardha Chandrasana, half moon posture. Let me show you this before you do it so that you'll know where you're going. You're either going to use a block or you're going to use the chair. We're going to come up and then we're going to open up our hips to face forward. Our whole body faces forward. So now my toes are pointing that way. This is an externally rotated hip joint, and I'm trying to come forward with my pelvis. So you're going to decide whether you're going to be in a chair or you're going to be in the block and do what is appropriate for you. Definitely some of the more intense postures. So do the variations. Maybe yours looks like this. Maybe it looks like this. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's whatever you need it to be. All right. So you're going to take the foot and point the toes in the direction. And the other thing is it's great to do this near a wall because it can really help because there's a major balance component of this. This really strengthens your balance and joint coordination. So practicing near a wall may be better for some of you. Toes are forward, foot's parallel to the wall, fully weight bear on that foot. Bring the hand onto the chair or the block. Contract your core, actively lift this leg and bring the leg so that it is parallel to your body. And then bring your arm up. So the standing leg could have a slight bend in it if that feels appropriate for you, but really lift that leg up. Don't let that upper leg hang down. So really activate that side glute muscle, glute medius. Flex that foot and then open your heart forward. Grab the floor with the foot you're standing on. Lift that leg up. Take one more breath. And then bend that standing leg. Do not round your spine. Let your knee and your hip be what bends in your body, not your spine. And bring yourself up. One of the most valuable things you're going to learn today is that as we load up the hip and we bring the flexion into the hip or that external rotation and we load in different areas, all of the pressure we're applying here, don't let it be here. Learn how to bend your hips and your knees when you want your body to do something instead of using your spine for that. Because that is not good for any of us, not even just about osteoporosis. It's not good for anybody to do that. All right, let's do that Ardha Chandrasana half moon balancing on the other side. So you're going to load up that leg first. You're going to contract your core. As you lift that leg, let it be nice and active. And then you're going to place your hand wherever you need to. Then you're going to open up your body. That's the tricky part for a lot of people, and that's the not natural part that we usually don't find our body in. So really load up that side external rotation of the hip. Keep that leg lifting in the air. Take one more breath. In order to come out of this, you're going to bend your knee. You're going to bring yourself forward. And you're going to bring yourself down and you're going to bring yourself up. So let's go on to a triangle posture. Let's do a little bit of pulling on. We're going to pull on the pelvis now. So instead of doing compressive force, weight-bearing force, we're going to come in, we're going to load into that joint, bring in compressive and tensile, and we're going to be pulling on our hip joint to create more stimulation. through the triangle posture. Some of you may be using a block. Some may use the chair. You're going to decide what's appropriate for you. Let's begin with a very wide stance in your legs. The wider, the better. And if going wide is a challenge, then please choose a wall to be near so that you feel more secure, because we're going to create force from different angles and have more areas of your hip to create lines of force. That's how this works. There's a line of force you're stimulating in your bones, that your bones are going to get stronger in that direct line. So the more you open, the more you load, the more force in that direction. So we're coming at it from all angles, I guess you'd say. All right, legs are really wide. Let's take the toes, lift the toes up, point the toes under the chair, pick the heel up and move the heel away from you. Your legs stay straight for this, and the bend here, the deep bend, is going to happen in the hip joint with that nice long spine. So you going down far has to do with how much your hip will bend without bending your spine. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, they're down. Reach your hands nice and long, and then you're going to start to bend that front hip joint. Bend the hip joint, bend the hip joint, bend the hip joint. Whatever your leg muscles will let you do, and other muscles, is all you're going to get. When you can't go any farther, you bring your hand onto the chair, the other hand up into the sky. If you could bend your hip joint more, not your spine, then you can come down. What I notice is that a lot of people are rounding their spines trying to get down lower, thinking that down lower is better, and it's not better. It's the hip. You're bending that hip joint, not the spine. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. Now here we can strengthen our core when we come up. So press your feet into the floor, keep your legs straight, lengthen your spine, and unbend at that hip as you bring yourself up. Let's go to the other side. Legs are wide. Now we're going to be bending this hip. You're going to take your toes underneath the chair, the heel up and back. Bring your shoulders forward, bring them up, bring them back, bring them down. And then you're going to inhale to bring your arms up, and it's the front hip this time. The front hip starts to bend. When you can't go any farther, you're going to bring your hand onto the chair, or if you could go deeper in your hip, you go deeper in that hip joint to come down a little lower. And make sure you smile. Push your feet into the floor. Be really sturdy in your stance here. And then open your heart forward. Take one more breath. Keeping your legs straight, lengthening your spine, unbending your hip to bring yourself up. We're going to come into a balanced posture, tree pose. And doing the tree posture after doing a lot of the strength is even more of a challenge. So you might find that you're less able to do the tree as long as usual because we've already fatigued a lot of the muscles. And so we're creating stress by practicing at this level and then giving our body a balance challenge. So be aware of that, but this is good because we want to prepare ourselves for any scenarios. Maybe you're out traveling to Spain and you're walking to see some amazing statue or painting you've always wanted to see, and you're pretty fatigued. You want to prepare your body to be able to react during that fatigue time. So this is for our trip to Spain. All right, let's take, and I guess I should say the trip to Scotland when we're going to do castle. We're going to go look at castles or ancient ruins because that's where I'm taking you if you're coming with me. All right. Feet are forward. You're going to be into that Tadasana, spine Tadasana, mountain posture, that nice alignment in the body. Go to your weakest side first. So whatever is your weakest side, you're going to push your body weight over to the weakest side. Actually, bring your hands down by the side. Stay in your Tadasana. Come your knees out front. Lift your heart, knee to the side, and then bring your foot up. So you could stay here with your hands to the side, or you could come into any other variation. And if you are a little bit more advanced, you could even do something that's a little bit higher and then start to let your gaze look up, which is very challenging. Grab the floor with the foot you're standing on. One more breath. And then bring yourself down. Let's shake, shake, shake. Let's go to the other side. If you need a chair, and even if you're weaning yourself from needing a chair, but you still sometimes need it, put it there, please. Especially since it's the end of the practice, there may be fatigue in your body. Hands are down alongside your body. Find your Tadasana. Find your stack joint, nice alignment of Tadasana. And then push your body weight onto the other foot. Knee comes up, out to the side, and then lift the foot up. Tree posture. Maybe from here, you could come into other arm positions if that's appropriate for you. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Shake your hands. Let's let your body be wide. Let's move in your joints. We need our joints to dance. We need to stay mobile in our joints. So moving side to side and whatever is appropriate for you. Letting your arms go. Letting your arms be in the air. Keeping your nervous system active and strong. And then shake your wrists. So we're going to come down onto the ground to finish the last posture of the day, which is called Shavasana. It is the integration, allowing everything to seep into and settle and to become a part of you so that you're different from when you arrived to your practice today. You created something more than what you came to the practice with. So get whatever you need for your Shavasana. And it could be anything. You could come down and lie down with just a blanket, or you could have a chair or something underneath your legs. Trying to stay in the moment, trying to stay with this posture, keeping your awareness on your breath. If you'd like to repeat the words peace over and over, take this time to allow the new you that you just stimulated to lay down the foundation of what you just created.
Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And roll your ankles and your wrists. And gently bend the knees, bring the knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Let your arms and legs go in the air and shake, shake, shake. Let everything settle. And then roll onto your side. You're going to push yourself away from the floor to bring yourself to a seated position. Try to keep your eyes closed, staying in this moment, staying in the practice of showing up. Intention is to create stronger body, stronger bones, stronger balance. Stay in that space. We're going to close with sound. We'll do the sound Om, which is a blending of Ah, O, M. Open mouth to closed mouth, your exhalation.
coming all the way from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. Hands stay together, thumbs touch the sternum bone. Sit as nice and tall as you can in your spine. Take an exhale to prepare. A big inhale. We bow to each other in namaste. Namaste. So I think there's really something to be said about that. The Bhagra Pranayama, the beginning practice we did where we were doing all the lobes of the lungs, because for me, my Om today, the sound of my exhale, my ability to allow my breath to leave my body was more fluid and longer. So that practice was definitely for me, lung strengthening and opening of whatever parts of me that happened. All right, so I'd like to hear how you're feeling, how that was for you. I give a lot of description during this class because there's a strong intention for me with this practice. And this practice is about you creating bone building stimulation, which is some of the strongest substances in our body, and you need to be safe. And I want to help guide you there because a lot of us, even if we have practiced yoga for a long time, we don't always know about the mechanics of why we're doing what we're doing. Sharon, it's your birthday too. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sharon. Happy birthday to you. Oh, wow. I didn't see that before. Maybe I walked away. No, but I saw Ellen's comment. So, okay, I think that's awesome. Good, Donna. Definitely a stronger class today. So hopefully it was appropriate for everyone. I always worry because those who are new are not quite as strong. Some try to jump in the deep end and do everything, and they shouldn't. And then they think, oh, this isn't for me. So that's why that analogy of don't take 3 scoops of ice cream if you're not hungry for 3 scoops of ice cream, or if you have, if you have lactose intolerant, you shouldn't be eating ice cream in the first place. So make it appropriate for you, please. Great, Carolyn. Good, Shannon. Good, but tired. Okay, so Ellen, I would say maybe not so much then, because you don't want to burn through your cellular energy and you want to moderate how much you should do. So as much as you want your bones to be strong, you have to show up appropriately and do what's appropriate. And so when I get tired from my practice, I tell myself, back off. Don't do such a strong practice. And honestly, Ellen, today's practice was very strength focused. Every posture, we did 11 postures, and all of them were strength focused except for the Shavasana, which is mental strength, right? Staying in the moment and not going, well, what am I going to do after class? And da, 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 da. Susan, great. Perfect. Yeah. Birthday wishes. Great. Good. Great, Anne. Thank you. All right, everyone. So I'm off to see the wizard. I know a lot of you know I'm taking care of my mother who has dementia and fractured her kneecap. And when we were in the hospital right after her surgery and I walked in, I said, hi, do you know who I am? She goes, are you the wizard? Are you the Wizard of Oz? And I'm like, do you know who I am? Well, in all fairness, I had a mask on and I had a red jacket. She goes, you're the Wizard of Oz. Because, the sedation and the meds and all that. Anyway, I'm off to see the wizard. All right, Kathy, great, perfect. All right, bye, girls. Have a wonderful time. Have a great day. And I hope that you're not too sore. All right, but I hope your bones got stronger, which they did. Bye.